Alright everyone, welcome back, and today we're playing Elsewhere High Chapter 1. You know I love my horror visual novels, so of course I'm going to be doing some for Halloween. And yeah, this one really jumped out for me, so I thought I'd give it a play for Halloween. Now, I've already got an achievement, because as always, I like to test the game first to make sure everything's okay. And I clicked New Game and I got an achievement, so yay! Awesome for me, and yeah, let's just jump in. I hope it's really spooky. Oh yeah, don't you worry. I'm definitely playing with headphones. Ooh, spooky. It wasn't very unusual for Derek to be walking on the muddy shoulder of a barren country road. They use this music a lot. I recognise it. While he lived in a modestly sized city now, Derek grew up in a small town surrounded by roads just like this one. He would often walk them in the mornings to catch his bus to school. That seemed like ages ago though. Now that he resided in the city, he usually chose to walk to school, except of course for the days when the cold was overbearing or the heat too exhausting. And yet he felt no comfort in his aged familiarity. Wow, familiarity? Wow, I can't even say that word. Where's the stop? He lifted his head. His neck was tense. He was told there would be a sign. A blue sign or something, right? His frame was not much of substance, but still his feet pressed against the softened ground and built mounds of displaced mud against the edge of his shoes. As he lifted them, the bulbous moulds would rise, as if they wanted to follow him. The earth kept them close, though these ripples of muck and instead sent a forest of stringy soldiers to cling the soles of his sneakers. There was a thick layer of them by now. Maybe I missed it. He spoke aloud to himself. He did this often. He sheathed his uncertainty and kept forward. His body ached. Derek took a moment to check behind him. He was somewhat worried that the sound of the rain would drown out any cars. Well, don't walk on the road then. There hadn't been one yet, but he kept to the gravel. Oh, thank you. I was going to say, there's no such thing as too careful. Guess I'll go a bit more. Oh, this is bullshit. His statement was more of a meditative cry than a pitiful complaint. Pity was something that Derek didn't have for himself or his situation. Confusion, anger, frustration, even a pinch of denial? Yes, but Derek did not feel sorry for himself. As he took a few more sunken steps, his mind was understandably drawn back to the conversation that had led him there. Jesus, fuck! It was somewhat unordinary for him to get called to the principal's office. He remembered. He was sitting in his grade 12 anthropology class, a class he had taken to get free credit from, but was rather surprised to find sort of interest in, when the PA system came to life with a familiar muffled alert. Yes? His teacher had cried out. His teacher had cried out. She wasn't the type to become easily annoyed, but found herself derailed from a train of thought by the brash interruption. Can we see Derek Summerfield at the office, please? The voice was hard to understand, but his teacher eyed him quickly. Yep, sure thing. She wasted no time giving Derek a physical gesture of excuse and jumping immediately back into her lesson. Derek didn't remember being nervous. One of his friends had talked him into joining their small student council, and while it was frequent, he would sometimes be called to the office to confirm various details of upcoming events. But this time there was a much more urgent topic of conversation. Oh, you fuck! As the umpteenth telephone pole disrobed itself from the darkness in front of Derek, he was quickly led away from his daydream. It was too far away to make out the details, but he knew he was nearing the landmark. Just keep walking until you find the blue sign. He could see it in the distance, fastened rather high above the ground on the wooden pole, a blue sign. His pace didn't quicken. Stop doing that! Do you know why I've asked to see you today? His principal asked with a voice laden with distinct disappointment. The principal liked Derek. He had never been in trouble, and it was expected that students that were part of the elected council were given somewhat of a special treatment. It was then that Derek remembered feeling the first tinge of nervousness. It was the sound of the principal's voice. With a weighted sigh, the principal opened an envelope on his desk and took out a handful of papers. On them were scribbled notes that Derek couldn't quite make out through the deep wrinkles and folds. Soon, after being close to gather himself, the principal's eyes made their way to Derek. They sat on him. He waited. Then, a raised finger. He carried it limply and waved it around the notes. Do these, for any reason, look familiar to you? Derek shuffled in his seat. I can't read them. Derek remembered saying the words through a taut throat. Have a look. The principal opened his hands and slightly pushed the papers towards him. With more than a little apprehension, Derek reached for them and began to read. Little bitch. Skankiest girl in the school. Oh my. Whoa, tell anyone I'll kill you. Mum's probably a whore. Your new name is Slut. That's your new name. He didn't read any one note from start to finish. They were vile in their language. Threatening. Rude. They made Derek sick to his stomach. He pushed the papers back towards the principal, and for the first time in years he remembered feeling his eyes begin to well up. Derek stopped. Against a swarm of browns and greys, the deep blue that covered the sign reclaimed his attention. Just keep walking until you find a blue sign. Once you find it, wait. It will come soon enough. He stood beneath the sign, his hands gripping the straps of his backpack. It was all he carried. I guess this is it. Is he going to run away? Did he get expelled? Not only was it raining, but it was sticky and warm, and recalling the events that brought him here did little to calm his growing palpitations. His brows were drowned in heavy and gathered sweat. He didn't seem to mind. There was nothing left to do other than wait. So Derek leaned his body against the telephone pole and did just that. Yeah, it's not making me jump anymore. Do you know what these are? Derek remained silent for a moment, took a deep breath and then exhaled with a purpose, as if he was about to reply. But he couldn't. Derek? The principal's voice remained assertive, but was softened by a hint of worry. Derek's body felt like stone. His mind was lifted elsewhere. He couldn't think or move. In this moment of confusion and discomfort, he felt as if he had surrendered his will. He was taken from him and handed over to someone else. His voice returned and broke. His head hung low. I'm sorry, I did it. Yes. That was all he said. Still standing against the rotted pole, he could not explain why he had said it. Yes? The principal waited for Derek to continue. He didn't. Derek, these notes were handed to me by a student named Priscilla. Oh, sorry, I keep yawning. I don't know why. Priscilla Aberdeen, do you know her? After taking a moment, Derek nodded. Yes, well, she handed me these notes in private, in secret, after trying to find a way to let someone know. She was terrified. Derek absolutely distraught. She was crying, sobbing, asking for help. He took a break to regain his escalating voice, then continued. Do you know anything about these notes? Derek's body was not his own. He felt a force nod his head on his behalf. The principal gathered himself. Derek, what do you know about these notes? Something lifted his tongue. Something put breath in his lungs. Something formed the words. I wrote them. You dick! He could feel his shoulder pancake between the weight of his body and the pole. It added to the ache. So he's going to run away. With a foggy mind and anchored heart, Derek waited. His face contorted in instinctual response to the memory. Priscilla. Why'd she kill herself? Her name popped from his mouth and crackled like hot grease. Priscilla. She was hardly even relevant to Derek throughout his high school life. He didn't dislike her. He just didn't know her. So why did you write those notes then, dick? They had shared a class the year before, when they were both juniors, but they sat on opposite sides of the room and had no friends in common. Their school was large enough for two students to never find themselves at the same place at the same time with the same people. She seemed like a nice girl, this Priscilla Aberdeen. Derek remembered hearing her laugh from time to time and thinking about how wonderfully infectious it was. She was an otherwise quiet girl, so it was refreshing to hear such a genuine expression. She engaged in a classroom discussion that was rather intelligent. Her marks were probably better than Derek's, although he didn't ever really push himself. There was certainly nothing wrong with her. And even if there was, Derek wouldn't have done something like that. Of course not. There were people who he disliked in his school. They were rude, or disagreeable, or just unlike Derek in too many ways. But he never mistreated them. He didn't want to spend the extra mental energy cooking up ways to hurt someone. It seemed superfluous. I can't even pronounce the word. Superfluous. I know the word, I just can't pronounce it. It was still a mystery even to himself then, why he had done this to Priscilla. Why have I done this to Priscilla? But when he did carve out enough courage to jump back into the cavern of his memory, he always re-emerged with nothing but a mind soaked in a solemn fog. Everything was hazy. Everything had been hazy. After his confession, he remembered nothing until the principal's door swung open and he heard footsteps behind him. How long have I been sitting here? A body sat down next to him. He barely raised his head, just dragged his eyes to the right to see who it was. Mum? It hovered somewhere between a question and a statement. She looked at him with something that Derek would have sworn was indifference, then surrendered her gaze to the principal. Derek assumed he began explaining the situation, but his senses shut down. His body was hardened by guilt and shame. Why did he do it though? Time passed. Wow, so many big words. I'm stupid. I went to literacy for a year. Well, not a year, a few months, because I can't spell for shit. Haphazardly, a few minutes, an hour, who knew? It was only when his mother laid a limp hand onto his forearm that he tuned back in. While he was sure that the gesture was meant to be one for comfort, he felt nothing but stinging apathy. Her hand sat there weightless, and from it flowed no measurable compassion. I tell you, if my kid ever did that, he'd be getting a spanking. She held a pamphlet in her other hand. Is it his journal? His principal spoke up with a low, heavy voice. I would recommend this as your next course of action. In terms of other options, there are a few. You could, of course, try. What is it? The two adults almost jumped at the sound of Derek's voice. His mother had almost forgotten that he was there. The principal spoke first. I'm sorry? That brochure, or what you guys talking about. The principal let out a deep sigh. No, buddy, you're being expelled. It's an alternative schooling of students who have been... Been what? The principal and his mother exchanged a worried, frustrated glance. This time his mother spoke first, but for some reason she whispered. Have you ever been listening? Have you even been listening? Sorry. She'd always feared being intrusive, even in situations like this. But now her sharp breath hit Derek's ear with a shrill of impatience. The principal fidgeted with his pen, then danced his gaze around both Derek and his mother. I called it. Derek, you have been expelled. His numb house somehow deepened into less. Less of feeling, less of knowing, less of nothing. What kind of school is this, being expelled? For right note, I mean, mind you, in my school, if you read those notes, you'd probably get your ass kicked. You wouldn't go to the principal, a person would just go up to you. The silence hung like ornaments on the walls. Derek exhaled slowly. What, I've given your mother's information on Elsewhere High. Oh, it's a horror school. It's a new program, a new facility, a school for exceptional children, is its slogan. Basically for troublemakers, for kids that just, that teachers can't teach and they just can't handle it. The trash left over. It's meant to accommodate families in situations like yours, being a bully and being a troublemaker. They offer transportation, simple accommodations, classes they engage the students in. His voice began to fade away. Derek knew what his mother had decided, even though she had yet to open the pamphlet, even though she had yet to speak. It nearly scared him half to death. Yeah, it scared me. Perhaps he had fallen asleep. But somewhere in the distraction of his mind, Derek hadn't seen or heard the bus approaching. The store swung open with a shrill creaking of metal, the motor rumbling conspicuously. I hope I said that right. As if it were puttering so loudly to hurry him up. Get on. Derek looked to his left, back down to the country road, back down to the track of muddied footprints he left that, by now, had turned into a path of miniature pools. Fresh new raindrops hit their surfaces and sent hundreds of ripples to wave him goodbye. He didn't wave back. He flipped them off. So the guy was a punk, got expelled, now he's gone to some, reject school. It was cold inside. Or perhaps it was a reasonable temperature and Derek's hot skin met the air with a chilling salute. Even though it was soaking heavy, Derek decided to keep his sweater on. It was basically all he had. The driver sat behind a glass cage, with all of its windows deeply tinted and completely impenetrable by sight. So was the entire bus, it seemed. Derek couldn't see outside, as the road windows were also darkened by a deep tint. His spine rattled. He let out a small cough and shrugged his backpack off his shoulders. His muscles were balled up and hard. Then Derek noticed that in the middle of the bus sat a girl. She was the only other passenger and sat with her body turned towards the window next to her. What is she looking at? Not you! It looked as if she were in deep thought. Derek's kindled curiosity was suffocated by, everything else. His anger, his confusion, his stubbornness. He sat in the front seat, directly behind the shielded driver. With his backpack placed by his side, he leaned his head against the window and closed his eyes. He knew they would not find sleep. Hey. Derek's heart leaped. He kept his eyes closed. Maybe she's not talking to me. Hey. This time it was more pointed. Derek rolled his body upwards and turned to her. Yeah? You just gonna sit by yourself? Yeah? Is that a problem? He still couldn't get a good look at her. All but her shoulder was blocked by the seat in front of her. Come on, grab a seat. No, stranger danger. Oh, it's one of those. Let's do a first spread. Let's just go to her. With a touch of reluctance, Derek picked up his bag and walked towards her. On his way, the bus did its best to thwart its efforts, throwing him effortlessly from side to side. Its metal body bounced to the rhythm of the road. With a taut grip, Derek pulled himself into the seat, sitting upright and gentlemanly. Well, that was a struggle. She gave a light smile. Derek, finally able to, gave the girl a glance. She was gorgeous. Her frame was gracious and timid, but she carried it with a purposeful force. She was hunched, yet all her limbs and muscles were firm and confident in their place. Her folded posture was not one of laziness, but one of intent. Alright, Hannibal Lecter, for fuck's sake! On her face was a set of green eyes that studied Derek hurriedly, but also offered a sense of genuine welcome. She had a restless stare that some might have mistook for motionless. But that was not true, Derek guessed. She was just calm. You could have walked over to the next stoplight or something. Huh? I mean, so it wouldn't have been so rickety. Oh, no, it was fine. She leaned farther back into the seat and placed her hands into her pockets. Ah, well, good morning. Derek had almost forgotten. The thick darkness had nearly fooled him, but it was in fact morning. He let out a sigh. Yeah, it was a bit like that when me and Luke first started college. We got the bus, and by the time we got off, we thought, oh, is it like lunchtime? It was only like 9 o'clock in the morning, but it was so dark. You two? His eyes wandered. I'm Sophie. Derek. Nice to meet you. Shh. Yeah. What was that for? Wow, he's already a dick. What? That. She did a boost lower voice and just her chin out like Derek did. In any other circumstance, her imitation would have made Derek smile, but his face remained stoic. Just not in the best mood. She turned back into herself before offering a response. Yeah, I feel that. I was in a shitty mood when they picked me up too. Probably still am. Huh. Place has turned me to a bitter old hag, I guess. I call it, this is a school for basically troubled teens. You seem fine. Really? Most people take my resting bitch face as some kind of attitude. Derek shrugged. She did seem fine. They shared a few moments of silence, but perhaps experienced it in completely separate ways. Sophie sat relaxed, carrying something between confidence and indifference on her shoulders. Derek swam deep in his anxieties, half forgetting that he was sharing his space. The bus rambled on, carrying him down a wholly unknown route. Each time the bus turned or stopped, Derek wondered where he was. It was headed west, but we've taken 2 right turns, or 3, damn it. Derek spoke with a tangible resignedness. Do you know how long it'll take? To get to school? A long time. Like what, an hour or 2? I'm not sure. You're not sure? Is this your first day too? Derek's voice was laced with annoyance. No. Then how do you not know? I just don't know, okay? It's far. Jeez, let it go. She probably doesn't know how to tell the time. Derek wasn't used to being so abrasive. He didn't like the feeling. Well, stop being an asshole! Okay, sorry, now I can see why he probably did write those notes for sure. Even though he admitted he did. No, I get it. I'm sorry. I'm just antsy. Shouldn't that be my job? A different kind of antsy. I remember the feeling on my first day. Yeah? Was it shitty like this one? She almost laughed. I'm sure it was pretty similar. She pushed out a gale of breath through the loose cheeks. They send you off quick too? Derek shrugged. They gave me a few days to get ready. Huh, that's a luxury. I was gone the next day. Didn't have time to do anything. It's like a sick joke or something. Some guys back at the campus always say there's no use moping. But I actually really like moping so they can shut the hell up. Derek wasn't sure how to respond. He let a timid laugh escape him. Yeah, I'm sure I'll do plenty of moping the next little while. So, she righted herself with a touch of pep. What'd you bring? In your backpack. I mean, it's all soaked to shit now, but it's all you got. Oh, huh. Yeah, I was actually pretty worried. Derek unzipped his bag and reached inside. And he pulled out a pizza. My laptop's in here. Your laptop? Her face was sick with worry. But look. He opened his bag to let her see. The laptop was wrapped in 2 plastic shopping bags. Forward thinker. Sophie rolled her eyes. Or you just wanted to get your 5 cents worth. There's 2 bags here. Oh, I'm sorry. Your dime's worth. Their voices were playful and high. Hey, people don't get rich by wasting money. Oh yeah? So your goal's to be all rich one day? Well, no. Actually, I just mean, you know, I don't want to be rich. I just want to be able to not worry about the bills, you know, lights being turned off. He searched for words, but retreated into a laugh instead. I actually have no idea where I was going with that. Sophie gave him a sarcastic smile. It is kind of bullshit though. What? That they make you pay 5 cents for a bag? Like, come on. It's a war crime, really. What, like tax? So what else you got in there? My laptop charger? You don't say. Derek shuffled through his bag some more. Another t-shirt so this one doesn't get too disgusting. Socks and underwear, I hope. He looked up to her and scrunched his face in uncertainty. No. What? I packed them in my other bag. You packed a t-shirt as a backup, but no boxes? Well, people can see my t-shirt. Oh my god, that's disgusting. What? Don't act like you women haven't reused a bra. You know that it takes time for your luggage to go through screening, right? I thought it was quick, like a couple of days or something. Yeah, that's what they say, but it never comes on time. Oh, great. Well, that's shitty. Who does the screening anyway? Sophie shrugged, unimpressed. Like they'd tell us. So we don't even know who's rummaging through our bags. Nope. Great. Huh, yep, welcome aboard. You're on to stupid stuff like that all the time. Just absolutely no idea what's going on. Huh. His body contracted to a shiver. Man, is there a way I could turn the AC down? I find it nice. Yeah, you're not soaking wet. Take your sweater off then. So you can see through my shirt? No, so you stop bitching about it being cold. Ouch. He liked her crass attitude. There was something about it that excited Derek. He let the silence settle and then rolled his shoulder towards Sophie. I reckon if we hadn't moved, she would have come sat next to us anyway. So what's with these windows? Good question. Sophie teetered somewhere between annoyed and empathetic each time she spoke. It confused Derek and caused him to tread rather lightly. Listen. She took a large breath. There's tons of stuff about this place that seems off. There's even more stuff you just have to get used to. Everyone's monsters, dead, you know. What I've learned from this place so far is that it's better to ask little questions as possible. You can make friends and stuff, just don't be loud about anything. Keep your head down, stay out of trouble, and don't make a fuss about being kept in the dark. I mean, we kind of brought this on ourselves, I guess. So, almost like a juvie. Of course, I want to know why we can't look out these windows, but I don't get to know that. It's not for me to know. So I don't ask. Derek decides to say nothing in return. How are you feeling? Like shit. That's good. At least you admit it to yourself. I try to be all brave for the first bit. Put on this face. No one bought it. Especially me. So that you can be honest. She took a moment before continuing. You know, I'm on this bus, which means I messed up. But I'm not a bitch or anything. We can talk whenever you need. Yeah, for sure. Derek could start to smell his feet reek. Wriggling his toes in his drenched shoes, he pushed the conversation forward in an attempt to distract Sophie from the stench. So if this isn't your first day, then why are you on the bus? Just to get out. We aren't allowed to leave campus, but we get bus privileges if we think we're showing a good behaviour. Right, I was going to say, is it like a college? Is it like, you know, they go to a campus or, you know, all that kind of stuff? So now it's making sense. Sometimes I feel more claustrophobic on here than I do it elsewhere. But still a change of scenery, I guess. Derek's heart sank. He had yet to arrive at his new school, but he already felt undeniably restrained. Thinking about these harsh limitations made him feel queasy and irate. They have no right to. You don't have any rights when you became a douche. Those notes were not nice. But Derek knew that his malicious thoughts were in vain. He had surrendered his control when he gave his confession, and this, he knew, was the outcome. What happens if we leave? What happens if we leave campus? You get shot, boy! Sophie's eyes twitched and then sank, looking deep into her thoughts. We don't know. You know who's going to be the first one to do it, don't you? But I don't really want to find out. Derek thought about challenging her, but stopped himself primitively. It seemed best not to prod. Sunken and low, Sophie spoke away from Derek. Any more questions? How long have you been here? Elsewhere? It only opened a couple of months ago. At the beginning of the school year, I was one of the first. I don't know, maybe 6 weeks? She claimed a moment for her and her thoughts, then returned to the conversation bearing a small, solemn grin. Her eyes were elsewhere. I remember a lesson in grade 2 about time. Our teacher was trying to explain to us how people invented time that didn't really exist before we did. Obviously we couldn't really get it, and maybe I never got it until I came here. But these last few weeks have felt like, I don't know, 6 days, 6 years. What do you mean? She took another moment to properly sort through her thoughts. You know when a friend tells you a story about an amazing vacation they took? How they saw this unbelievable thing and they try to explain it to you? It doesn't really translate, you know? You still can't really picture what they mean. Elsewhere it's kind of like that. I could try to explain everything about it to you, but it wouldn't help. Besides, you're not that far from experiencing it for yourself. Sophie took a strand of hair between her fingers and ran it down the edge of her face, then right into her baseball cap. As it sat in her palm, she pushed it downwards, situating the beak so that it almost covered her eyes. Well, Derek, I'm going to get some sleep. Derek's eyebrows scrunched. Sleep? Is it really that far? No clue, but I'm exhausted. Aye, okay. He was tired too, but thinking about sleep made him feel lonely. He wasn't ready to give up the company, but joined Sophie in an attempt to find rest. Alright, it's getting me hooked. It came quickly. In it he found just what he expected. While the exact images of the dream escaped him, Derek felt a suffocating loneliness through it. Maybe there wasn't any images at all. Maybe it was black. Maybe it was the raw feeling of nothingness. Maybe Derek's mind was so heavy it felt like an anvil to his body. His neck ached under its weight. The nerves in his shoulders splintered, fracturing away from themselves to find help. It's so heavy. It's so lonely. And then... Jesus, that made me jump. That was a good way of doing it. You know, you're almost feeling like you're falling asleep, you're in a dream, and then bang! Derek's body lifted from the seat from the strength of the impact. Holy shit! He gripped the seat in front of him and flew his eyes around the bus with a loud sense of urgency. It was obviously a bump, like a speed bump. What the hell was that? The pothole. She seemed annoyed, not frazzled. While her calm response did something to de-escalate Derek, it also made him irritated. What? It means we're close. Holy shit, I almost had a heart attack. Sorry, I should have warned you. Her suaveness suddenly slid from a magnetic force to a biting annoyance. Yeah, no shit. Alright, dude, calm down. It was a bump. You're fine. Derek wiped his mouth with the back of his sleeve. He was hot with anger. It took him some time to calm his breath, and by then the bus had slowed to a stop. I mean, it was a pothole, but it wasn't like, you broke something. Christ. Derek closed his eyes and checked his tone before he spoke. Does that mean we're here? He said it much more calmly than he imagined. Yep, this is us. Only one stop on the Elsewhere High bus. As Sophie seemed collected and familiar, Derek scrambled for courage. He grabbed his backpack, stood from the seat, and walked towards the front of the bus. As he passed the driver's chambers, he tried one last time to peer into the tinted glass. Who took me here? But, of course, he could see nothing. The doors in front of him stood open. He could see puddled water on the ground. Still raining. At least something felt familiar. Take your time. Derek hadn't noticed her behind him. He couldn't tell how much sarcasm was laced in her gesture. Afraid and unsure, Derek stepped down the stairs onto the damp asphalt of Elsewhere High. Oh, Jesus! Yeah, that's not haunted for sure. This is it? So yeah, this is Elsewhere. If you want, I'll give you a minute to... Hey, Soph! He infiltrated the conversation with a stink punch of pep. His voice was vibrant and fun. He was undeniably handsome. Is he bisexual? Man. Derek was confident in his own looks, but he knew that the face was still young. But this guy, he looked distinguished. With his chiseled face and smart outfit, Derek couldn't help but blush with jealousy. Jesus, he is Hannibal Lecter. Welcome back. How was the ride? With an inconspicuous flick of his finger. Inconspicuous... Man! He dusted the ashes away from the tip of a cigarette he held. Hey, Vincent. It was fine. Great. And the new guy? Sophie gave a weak gesture towards Derek and Vincent stuck his hand out to him. Hey, man. Derek took it. Hey, what's up? Nothing much. So, what do they call you, man? Oh, sorry. I'm Derek. Well, nice to meet you. I'm Vincent. Welcome aboard. Thanks. He wasn't even sure why, but Derek couldn't find his confidence. A little shy. Vincent pulled himself towards Derek and draped his arm around his neck. You won't be for long. Trust me. Only one way not to go crazy here is to make some friends. Fast. Derek wasn't sure what to say. Don't take it personally, Vince. He's probably just trying not to vomit from your disgusting breath. Vincent unlatched himself from Derek and raised his hand that held the cigarette. See this? This is my last cigarette ever. Yeah? So last week's last cigarette ever was just practice? Exactly. I had to know what it was going to feel like. Had to do a trial run. Uh-huh. Well, we'll see how long it takes for you to just switch to pod or something. No way, this is for real. Besides, that stuff makes me antsy. Sophie stood a bit further away from the two guys, and Vincent beckoned her closer. Anyways, how was the ride, man? Oh yeah, it was good. We slept for a lot of it. Oh, you guys sat together, did ya? So you two already know each other? Well, not really. I want to know everything. What'd you tell her? I hate feeling behind. I think he was meant to say falling? Oh, God. My name's Derek, and we hate paying for shopping bags. Vincent erupted into laughter. What? I just gotta reposition. That's better. You know when you keep like moving and then it's like your pants slide down further and further and then it reaches a point where it's like very uncomfy? Huh. So you've burned all through the quality topics, I see. Well, geez, man. Sorry about that. I mean, I know Sophie can be cold, but I didn't think she'd stoop to talking about shopping bags. Sophie rolled her eyes and then gave a reluctant smile. Yeah, and Vincent is totally known for his riveting conversations. Yeah, for some reason I'm hearing sarcasm here. He turned towards Derek. Derek, what do you want to do? Huh? We've probably got a few minutes before class starts. I don't know, we can do something, talk about something real. Soph can come too, I guess. He winked at her. Shh, thanks, asshole. Derek looked around. Across the street from the school was an empty lot made of gravel. The school bus sat idle on the far side. Apart from that, there was nothing. Next to the school was some sort of business, and Derek could see a solid grey building in the distance. Oh, what's that grey building? Oh, that's the dorm. They'll probably show you to yours after class. Yeah, there's nothing very exciting about it. You'll be on the second floor. How do you know? It's not co-ed. Well, this building is, but the floors aren't. Girls are on the third floor. Who's on the first? Teach. You'll meet her soon enough. The teacher lives in the dorms? Well, I'm sure she's got some sick suite going on. I mean, she's got the whole floor pretty much, so yeah. It's not too bad. She doesn't seem to come into our rooms or anything. There's a bunch of weird stuff here that you'll just get used to. Huh, yeah, Sophie was telling me. Vincent chuckled. Oh, so your conversation didn't stop at the cost of shopping bags? Derek smiled at him. His chest was still tight, his breath was still short, but Vincent was doing a fine job making him feel welcome. Yeah, we went a bit deeper than that. Vincent nudged Derek with his elbow. Oh really? How deep did you two go? Oh my god, Vincent, shut the hell up! He laughed, ran his hand over his pulled back hair and threw his cigarette to the ground. snuffing it with the back of his boot. Last one, I swear. Well, good luck with that. I'm going to try and get to class early today. You can come if you want, Derek. Oh man, here we go, the choices. See, we've already had a really good chat with Sophie. I want to hang with Vincent. Sorry, Sophie. I'm going to wait a bit. Yep, no worries. See you in class? For sure. It's just, he could show me around. She turned and walked away from the boys. Vincent waited a moment and then spoke. Oh man, isn't she something? Huh? Oh, come on. You can't tell me you don't think Sophie's a bombshell. Huh? Oh, well, yeah, she's pretty. Vincent winded his eyes. What? Oh my god, I can't understand guys like you. She's 100% a 10. And you're over here like, yeah, she's pretty. Screw off with that. She's unbelievable. Derek laughed. Alright. Are you gay? You're not gay, are you? I think it's... Well, actually, yeah, because the way he's talking about you earlier. What? Do you like... Wow, straightforward. What? No? Okay. Then how are you not on board with this? Sophie's great. She's hot. Yeah? I just don't know her that well. Jesus, calm down. Vincent paused to straighten the collar of his shirt and spoke softly. Yeah, whatever. Sometimes I get carried away. The pep in his voice returned. But it's not just about that. I have feelings for her. We'd be perfect together. You like her? What? Yeah, of course. Does she know? Sorry, I just keep forgetting you're new. Yes, Sophie knows. Should have guessed you wouldn't be quiet about it. Derek gave Vincent a sly smirk. Exactly. I tell her every chance I get. And she's not biting? I don't know. Sophie's a closed book. I don't know how buddy you guys got on the bus, but you can probably tell that she doesn't want her heart on her sleeve. Wear her heart on her sleeve. It's like buried in her pocket or something. Or in her chest. I was trying to stay in the context of a metaphor, thank you very much. Anyways, I have no idea how she feels. She hangs out with me. Not that there's much choice here, but she seems to enjoy our time together. Either that or she's really good at hiding her distance from people. Oh, distaste for... Yeah, sorry. It means like... I know what it means. Just never really heard it used before. Hey, I say if you're going to speak a language, speak it well. Yeah, I can't say the same for me. Words can be beautiful if you use them right. Huh, never would have pegged you as the time. Vincent gestured his shoulder towards the school, his eyes in yearning. Look at her. Derek turned around and followed Vincent's stare. At the front of school sat Sophie, her hands folded, propping her head up. She was calm and alone. Vincent shook his head. Man, is she beautiful. Let's head in. Vincent led Derek towards the school. As they walked, the now common nervousness crept its way back into Derek's mind. His eyes searched for an escape but found none. Instead, Derek... Oh, shit, what happened? Oh. Save? Yeah, we better save it. We've been going on for about 50 minutes. Yeah. It was growing dissolute and offered no respite for Derek or his restless thoughts. While he had hoped that the emptiness would help to offer a sort of calming of the mind, Derek could see no exit for his loud excitement. He was worried and alone. Even though a body walked next to him, it was unfamiliar and new. He was welcoming, this Vincent, and at least somewhat amicable. But Derek ached for the comfort of something recognisable, something warm. The building towered beside them. Derek felt as if he was watching him. You are not welcome here. Hey! Judging by Sophie's reaction, Derek wasn't sure he had been pulled from a deeper trance. She looked up to Vincent with a cold stare. Yes? Oh, I got an achievement for that. You ready to head in? It's about time. Holy shit, haha. Don't let anyone tell you guys that I have a bad sense of time. Literally, no one has said that ever. Right, so in the future, don't let anyone tell you that. Oh my god. Sophie stood up. She didn't stretch, but seemed to find comfort in her posture immediately. You ready, Derek? Yeah, time to meet the teach. Ready? He pushed the question out nervously. Sorry, there's nothing to be ready for. I just mean, I didn't want to rush you. Oh yeah, I'm good. Let's go. He sounded much less confident than he had hoped to. Sophie turned and led them towards the door. She leaned her body against it and pushed her way into the school. With a quick nod of her head, she gestured the boys into the building. After you guys. Such a gentleman. Thanks, Soph. With her hands in her pockets, Sophie let the door slide shut and followed Derek into the hallways of Elsewhere High. Oh, here we go. Seems clean. A lot of desks. There was less than Derek had expected. He wasn't quite sure of what, however. Less light, the colours of the room were notably muted, and it took Derek's eyes a moment to balance themselves. Less people. Empty chairs dotted the room, almost teasing those who were there. These many people didn't screw up like you. The atmosphere of the room was alien to Derek, like so much else. He felt as if he were becoming used to feeling discomforted. It wasn't that he felt frightened or unsafe, but the classroom gave him a peculiar sensation that he couldn't quite define. Grab a seat, man. Anywhere? Yep, there's no seating plan or whatever. Oh. Another unfamiliar feeling of needless disorganisation. Derek sat down next to Vincent. Sophie followed and sat on the other side of Derek. Don't worry, we got you. She stiffened her lips into something of a smile. Vincent reached over to Derek between the desks and tapped his arm. That's Teach up there. An older woman, middle-aged perhaps, sat at the front desk reading a book. A pen sat nimbly in her hand, her grip loose and unsure. While her stare was resolute and focused, there was a welcoming air about her that calmed Derek. Looks can be deceiving. Yeah, you're a perfect example for that, dipshit. You don't have to worry about her. She is great. She could be mean, but just don't be an arsehole so you never see that side of her. Fair enough. Sophie seemed to be rather alert. It was as if she was studying the room and those in it quite closely. Nobody has a bag. Like a backpack or a notebook or anything. They're kept in the classroom. Oh. Sophie's eyes never met Derek when they spoke. He turned to Vincent, sitting limply in his chair. You alright? Vincent moaned. Ugh, yeah, just tired. Man, this is taking forever. We just got here. Dude, have you ever been to school? It takes forever. It's all relative, brother. There's nothing Vincent hates more than class. Students filled in slowly. Soon one of them sat in front of Derek. His frame was tiny and his movements meek. Sophie grinned, leaned towards him and used her slender ear to stab the back of his shoulder. Hey, Toby. He turned towards her. Oh, hey, Sophie. He spoke kindly, but sounded slightly confused. Now, all these people are meeting. They are here for a reason, so what did they do? I'm not growing attached to anyone just yet. Sophie gestured towards Derek. What did he do? I mean, look at him. He's like a child. This is Derek, the new guy teacher was telling us about. Toby's eyebrows rose slightly. He gave a timid smile. Did he drown someone's pet? I bet he drowned someone's pet. Oh, hi. I'm Toby. Nice to meet you. Thanks. Well, yeah, don't say anything like that, you fucking twat. He's kind of shy. And he's in this class. Newness never sat well with Derek. He couldn't honestly say that he was overly welcome with change. This newness was no different, but the accompanying feelings of burning apprehension and unease were heightened. This newness was a punishment, not a necessity. He brought the scraping fear on himself. The warmth seemed to close in on him. There was no room to breathe. And this is Ash. Huh? Derek looked towards Sophie and saw her gesturing to a girl sitting next to her. Derek had to crane his neck to see her. Hey, so you're Derek. Hey, Ash. You look pretty. Yeah. Hey. Cool. Well, welcome. All these people look so nice, but geez, they must have done something bad. Derek nodded to her but did not reply. She seemed distant. Alright. Class. The teacher stood from her... Oh, that was a teacher? I thought that was a student. The teacher stood from her desk upright and gave a subtle scratch to her scalp, finding her thoughts. Most of us seem to be here today. Has anyone seen Killian by chance? There was silence. Right. She sounded unimpressed but not at all surprised. Matthias is unfortunately still feeling ill, so won't be joining us today. They kill the students and eat them for lunch. She made some notes on a scrap of paper on her desk. But other than that, I think we can get started. As I'm sure some of you noticed, we have a new student joining us today. I'd give a small introduction, but I wouldn't want to steal that opportunity from you. So why don't you come up to the front, Derek? She does seem nice. His eyes darted this way and that, and his heart surged with swollen tempo. Yes, come on up, please. She gave no room for choice, but spoke regularly. It certainly wasn't her that terrified Derek, but the situation. Okay. He rose from his desk and carried himself to the front of the class. He felt like a place of mat for the other students' stares. The teacher made space for him, moving to the side of the classroom and leaning against the wall. She waited patiently. Well, I could start. My name is Miss Dupont. I am, for now, the only teacher here at Elsewhere High, and I've been here since it opened 2 months ago. You're the only teacher? Oh God, you poor soul. I came from Oregon. My favourite dessert is vanilla flan, and I have a large interest in Korean cinema. I like horror Korean. It's really good. I think Phobia is Korea. That's a good movie. I recommend that one. She smiled at Derek and nodded her head in encouragement. I think they made 2 Phobia movies. Something like that. Derek's hand found comfort in his pockets. Okay, my name's Derek, and I'm an absolute douchebag, and I hurt a girl's feelings by writing notes, and I deserve to get smacked in the jaw. I just got here today. A low chuckle revved from the class, and it did not sit well with him. I'm from Iowa, so it's nice to see some other agents for once. The class laughed again, and Vincent perked right up. I got your back, brother. Miss Dupont rolled her eyes and grinned in what might have been reluctant disapproval. I don't really like dessert. Ice cream is pretty good, I guess. And I've never seen a Korean movie. Although he gave a large shrug to mark the end of his introduction, Derek did feel a small seed of confidence. At least I made them laugh. Mate, they weren't laughing with you, they were laughing at you. And what grade were you studying? 12th. Very good. Thank you, Derek. Do you have any questions for us? all of us are seniors then? Does anyone want to answer this question for Derek? Toby, how about you give it a try? You can have a seat, Derek. As he tried to rush back, Derek could see Toby shiftly awkwardly to his seat. In his seat. Derek is wondering if everyone came here from 12th grade. How would you answer that? No, we didn't. Thank you, Toby. In the future, I'd like to see some more elaboration, but thank you for answering Derek's question. Not all of you came from senior year, no. Some of you are younger than others, but we, and by we, I mean the founders of this institute and myself, tried to install a very inclusive and accessible classroom setting. So yeah, all jerks come to this school. We focus on a multi-approaching teaching style. All of you are the teachers as much as myself. Seeing you or others invited to the front of the class to answer a question or form an opinion would be extremely common. Of course, I am the teacher, and therefore the overseer and organizer, but that by no means defines my knowledge as greater or better than yours. We all have something to learn from each other. I know this might seem odd to you, but I think most of your peers here today would agree that it takes little time to get used to, and oh shit, that came out of nowhere, and creates a much more open environment. There is zero tolerance for any type of bullying or discrimination. I hope that above all is clear. That especially goes for you, Derek. She made her way back to the front of her desk and sat her body onto it. Her posture was casual, her knees bent, her arms crossed. For some reason it excited Derek. Maybe this will be alright. Miss Dupont took a contemplative moment. Okay. Who would like to explain to Derek how we tend to start each day? Sophie adjusted her baseball cap. Was that a raised hand, Sophie? Just fixing my hat. But I'll go for it. Sophie turned and faced Derek, rather than offering a response to the teacher. We usually start every day with a critical thinking discussion. Why am I a jerk and how can I fix it? That's right. I appreciate it, Sophie. Thank you. Derek, each time we engage in a discussion topic, it's an open conversation. Raising your hand can be used as a form of organisation, but generally we can speak when we feel we need to add to the discussion. See, I was told that you always got to raise your hand, and I hated it because of the one stupid kid who would always yell out the answer and the teacher would go correct, and you would never get an answer right, and the one that you would finally get gets stolen from you. There is no goal to these discussions, or rather there is no end goal. What we're attempting to do is think critically about a subject or topic we might even give no thought to at all. It fascinates me, as I believe it does some of you as well, because often we see some of us leave the conversation with a completely new perspective on things. Stealing music. The class let a low chuckle, as did Miss Dupont. Aha! Exactly. What a great discussion that was. There was a sense of tentative camaraderie in the room, as if the gel that held everyone together and close could soften any moment. Today's topic. She turned around, picked up a piece of chalk from the small shelf and began to write, speaking the words as she penned them. Is it immoral to lie? Placing the chalk back, she once again faced the class and leaned on her desk. Is it immoral to lie? She let the question sit. Well, is it immoral to lie? What do we think? Well, depends on the situation. The silence in the class didn't spawn from apathy, but rather contemplation. Alright, new guy. What do we think? Is it immoral to lie? Do I flip a coin? Yes. Why? Well, because... See, we need to think. Think about the question. Don't think about society. Don't think about what you've been taught. Think for yourself. Okay. He claimed a moment to gather himself. Okay, yes, it is immoral to lie. Because by lying, I don't know how to explain it. It's like you're changing someone else's mind for them. You're not letting someone think for themselves. Reality is changed for them. But, you see, you don't go up to a kid and say Santa's not real. You know? You let them have an imagination. She raised her eyes a bit and frowned an impressed frown. Very good. I like how you specified your answer by offering your opinion on immorality. Fogging the reality of someone else's mind. Very interesting. Thank you, Derek. She took a pause. Oh, another achievement. What about you, Ash? Is lying immoral? No. Ash, what have we said about those one-word answers? Yes and no are powerful words, but they are commands in need of armies. Back it up, girl. Okay, let's say this. You're at home, and you're a parent, and your kid's at home, too. They're sleeping or whatever. And some guy knocks on your door and says, is your kid home? I want to kill it. And he's holding a knife, and he looks, oh, Jesus, this is going dark. Crazy and shit. And he says again, is your kid home? I'm going to slit its throat. Obviously, you're going to say no. That is not a proper argument. It's like I said, you don't... When your kid asks, is Santa coming? You don't tell them, he's not real. You tell them, yes, Santa is coming. And then once they grow older, they start to think for themselves, What's another good example? You don't... that's the only one I can really think of. Unless you really hate your kid or something. But most people would say no, and you lied to him. But does that make you bad? That you lied to this guy so he didn't kill your kid? So you're approaching the question with moral reality in mind. See, then you can spin it around and say, you're lying to protect someone? See, we've chose a really serious topic to start. Can someone here define moral relativity for us? There was silence. Vincent? Moral relativity implies that certain actions are immoral and carried out by some, but not by others. Derek eyed Sophie, who was already looking at him in anticipation of his impressed glance. She just gave him a mixture of a nod and a shrug. Or maybe in Ash's situation, perhaps she meant that certain things are immoral in certain situations but not in others, when carried out by the same person. Very good, Vincent. A fine explanation. You see, if someone comes to your door, here's a good one. So you're a kid, you're on your own, and someone answers the door, or rings the doorbell, and they ask, are your parents home? You're not going to say no. You're going to say yes, they are home, because you don't know who the stranger is. See, now it helps, but it's a yin and yang, where there's a good, there is a bad. Does everyone understand what we're speaking of here? I get Ash's one, but she should have made it better. If she had said, if the child was home alone and someone on the door said, are your parents home? You'd say yes, because then, you'd shoo the person away. Let's picture someone living in extreme poverty. Oh god, here we go. They were born into poverty and know nothing other than poverty. Soon, they slip into complete homelessness and their situation worsens by the day. They realise that in order to properly feed themselves they need to steal, so each morning they do. They go to the local bakery, let's say, and they steal enough food to keep them alive. Now, take this same situation and apply it to a wealthy person. This person has no worries in regards to finances. They never have to wonder where the next meal will come from. But they too have taken up the habit of stealing. Yeah, the government! They steal food, electronics and so on. Yeah, you're explaining the government. Is it possible, or rather, could it be reasonable to suggest that perhaps stealing in one of those cases is immoral, whereas in the other it is not? Or is there a universal rule? If something that is bad for one, bad for all? Well, yeah, it is bad. But, if this is a really serious topic. No. His voice was so soft that Mr. Potter's gaze fell on him with an immeasurable level of uncertainty. Toby? It's not. Mr. Pond smiled. Derek could tell that Toby rarely participated in these conversations, so the teacher was glad he said anything at all, even if it was muted and vague. What is not? His breath stuttered under his anxiousness. There's a story in the Bible I read once. Oh God, here we go. I think it's in the Book of Exodus, but I'm not sure. And there was a king who was afraid that his slaves might become strong enough to overthrow him and his empire. So he told the women working for him, the midwives, I guess, to go out and kill the male baby. Yeah, I think I did a... Nah, that was the Greeks. I did where he killed his father, who was a god, and then he was worried about his child doing the same, so he would always eat the kid. So then the wife took her latest child away. He got better. Not better, raised to be a warrior, and then fought his dad. I can't remember, it was so long ago. If all the boys were killed, the population would be weak. And so the midwives, they didn't want to do it, obviously. Sorry, I'm just getting a drink. It's gone really long. And when they went back to the king, or the pharaoh, he asked them how he was going. And the midwife lied. Now that is a good argument right there. And the midwife lied to him and said that the slave masters gave birth really fast. They were so fast that the babies were hidden before she could get there and kill them. She lied to her king, and in the story it says that God looks upon her with favour. So, if you think about that faith, or any faith really, lying is considered bad. But even though it's considered bad, there was still situations where it seems good. See, he had my mindset. If someone wants to kill someone, you're not going to say, what's worse, murder or lying? He thought about something for a moment. Well, maybe not good, but barely yeah, there you go. Vincent began to laugh obnoxiously. Ha ha ha! Oh man. Vincent? I don't even know, I just thought that was funny. Vincent, what Toby offered was an insightful look into his personal thoughts on the subject at hand. What you are offering is abrasive and rude. Please stop. Yeah, well, I expect nothing like that again in the future. She softened her face and turned her attention toward Toby. Thank you for your thoughts, Toby. Personally, I found that story fascinating. It was a good argument right there. While I admit my specific knowledge of the Christian faith is quite limited, I'm very glad that we have such diverse backgrounds to hear from. Thank you very much. Garrett looked at Vincent, whose body was stretched out down his chair, his head reclined against the wooden back. His hands were woven together on his lap and he looked altogether disinterested. While the conversation was evolving anew, Derek soon found his attention wavering. He could no longer focus on the debate. It seemed wholly trivial to him. Is lying immoral? Yin and yang. It's a good and a bad. What's the saying? Where there's actions, there are consequences, I think is how it goes. This place. Everything seems grey. Oh, I'm trying to remember that saying now. Consequences or... Like, you can't just go and take something and something to happen in return. Oh, what... I think where there's a positive, there's a negative. Something like, you know what I mean, yin and yang. I could walk in and, I cut in line. And because I cut in line, I've now bought the winning ticket. But because of that, I've now put someone else who could have won that ticket who really needed it because I cut in line. No, that doesn't work. That's a bad one. Class seemed to pass by without force. He sat with no effort and let his muscles fall as they would. sinking into the chair. I'm trying to think of a good one now. At what point everyone rose, went to the front of the classroom and gathered their notebooks. Miss DuPont made her way to Derek's desk and handed his to him personally. She may have given him some loose instruction, but he was lost on Derek. A formal lesson began. What it was about was forgotten. Derek held his pencil, also given to him by the teacher, with a limp grip. He wrote nothing. I think that just about does it. We've covered today's materials. I'll also remind you of the upcoming deadlines. You should all know what they are. Sorry. So it's like me, say I go to a store and then I buy the last apple pie. I'm happy, but now the person behind me who's probably got a person who loves apple pie is now not going to get it. You see what so I'm happy, but someone else isn't. It's a weird way how it works. Like I said, good and bad. He looked to his right and left and then to the clock. Class is over? Mr. Pond drew a heavy breath. I think that is all. Oh, before we go, Derek, please stay behind today. We'll have a little chat, please. Everyone else, you're free to go. I feel like I just had a really good lesson. I mean, I was really getting into it. The students stood from their seats and righted themselves. Sophie patted Derek on his shoulder. I'll see you back at the dorms, maybe. Just let me know if you want to hang out or anything. I'm room 307. You give Derek information that took me weeks of recon to get? Derek doesn't tell me I have nice elbow. I'm liking this. I'm actually really enjoying this. That was once. To be fair, your elbows are pretty nice. Oh dear God. I'm joking. Thanks. I'll probably see you later. Sweet, later. She picked up a notebook and pencil, walked to the front of the room and deposited it into Mrs. DuPont's desk. Toby and Ash followed closely behind her and they left the room as a silent group. Derek looked to him. That Toby's something else, eh? Before I just want to save it. That Toby's something else, eh? What do you mean? What, you don't think he's weird? I don't know him. You know him enough to form an opinion on him. If I knew him enough to form an opinion on him, I would have answered your question in the first place. Vincent paused. Well, he is. What? Weird. The dude's weird. Jesus, man, nod and smile. Well, I don't think he's weird, so I'm not going to nod and smile. Vincent ruffled his eyebrows and looked sharply at Derek. So what? You want to be all buddy-buddy with him? What, are you jealous? I don't know, Vincent. I barely met him. You want to be besties with Toby? Vincent turned from Derek and picked up his notebook, shoving it under his armpit. What? Want to hang out with him and listen to that pussy voice he has? Oh, hi, Sophie. Makes him sound like a pansy, man. Yo, maybe we should just get off him. Get off of... Oh, I did it again. He's not even here. Bro, I'm not on him. Whatever, it doesn't matter if he's here. You're being a douchebag. So now you're backing him up? Wow, this just took a really serious turn. I'm just mad, you should shut the hell up. Derek spit his last words out like venom. He let his crescendo drop into silence. At the front of the room stood a worried Miss DuPont, who was clearly distracted while helping another student. She'd been keeping a close eye on their altercation, it seemed. Vincent snatched his pen off his desk and stormed to the front of the room. His heavy boots clumped against the tiles conspicuously. With a flick of his body, he dumped his schoolwork onto Mrs. Dewey's desk. Once he had left, Derek turned towards the front and approached it timidly. Everyone had now left but the two of them. No need to look so nervous. Vincent's got a head that's hot as it is smart. He has a temper and he certainly forms his opinions on things that quickly. Too quickly, if you were to ask me. I appreciate some of the things you said. Derek shrugged. Didn't make sense. Miss Dupont sighed and let her eyes drop downwards. Yes, well, carrying on. I just want to get you situation, take you to your room, and answer any questions you may have. So if you'll follow me, we can get started. She led Derek out of the room and through the winding corridors. The school was large, needlessly large. I thought there was only one class. Derek followed her in silence as she eventually led him out to the back of the door I did it again! Of the school. Here we are. It might take you some time to navigate the campus, but here is the rear entrance. This here is the rear entrance. It's the closest entrance to your dormitory. She pointed towards a grey building in the distance. A lot of this music I'm recognising because I watch a lot of horror videos, you know, top 5 scariest, top 5, you know, this and that. Shall we? There was a low silence. So, how was it? Your first day of class? Hope I didn't disappoint. No, you're lovely. Oh, no, it was good. Mr. Pont left out a soft chuckle. Well, I'm glad. Her voice hardened. Now, I'm just going to take a quick sip. My throat's getting a little dry. I'm sure everything must be so uncertain. There must be so many questions that you would like to be answered. From my experience with the students here so far, it often takes some time for those questions to bubble up. But I'll make sure that I tell each and every one of my students that if they ever have questions, I'm here to answer them to the best of my ability. So of course, you always have the same opportunity. I'm just going to split the parts because this is a really long game, so I'm just going to cut the recording and I'll jump right back in. And we're back. Yeah, just thought I'd cut it there just in case something goes wrong and messes up the recording. So, we continue. So, of course, you always have the same opportunity. Thank you. Is there anything you'd like to ask now? When will my stuff come? Why is the school so big? Mr. Pont smiled at his observation. This school was shut down rather recently. It was fed by a network of neighbouring small towns. A proposal was given to this existing school, but instead an entirely new school was built somewhere in the township. It seemed like the building was to be knocked down. That is, until this idea came to be. What is it? He didn't respond. Mr. Pont was approachable. He felt a genuine comfort when he spoke to her. And yet, he wondered if this comfort ran no deeper than a smooth, amiable voice. Perhaps he found no comfort in disposition at all. They offered some time away to silence. I feel full here. Derek, maybe she's here for a reason. Maybe she's, this was the only place she could go to because she did something wrong. Derek continued with his head down, his hand in his pockets. Of course, I always felt a sense of fulfillment from teaching, but it's amplified here. I care more about the group of students than any other before it. I'm sure many teachers would think of this opportunity as a nightmare. On paper, you guys are hard sell. She tried to halfway her jab, but it hit Derek the wrong way. But I've never had the pleasure of teaching such a vibrant group. I look forward to your observations and energy each day. I know that we don't know each other yet, but thank you for your input and yourself. I hope that what I'm doing here is at least empowering you all. So thank you, Derek. You are noticed and you are of worth. He wasn't sure how to respond, so he didn't. Though the thick curtain of constant unease, Derek at least felt safe in saying nothing. They had arrived at the entrance of the dorms and Mr. Pont began shuffling through the pouch that she carried, quickly producing a plastic card from it. She handed it to Derek. An extra layer of security. There's no one on campus outside of those in your class and myself. The founders will show up infrequently. In any case, this is a key card for the dorm rooms. It is programmed to open the front door as well as your room. Quite fascinating, isn't it? Yeah. She laughed. Oh, I'm sure something like this is nothing to a guy like you. It is quite incredible though. She scanned the card and held the door for him. So yes, please do not place this card or swap cards with other students. It is for your room alone. Thanks. Mrs. Pond led him to the second floor. Not a bad place. Well, this is it. I know it doesn't seem like much, but please make the best of it. It might be difficult to see right now, but this is such a great opportunity for you guys. Anyways, I'll let you get settled. This is your room here. She motioned to the door on the left and gave him a smile. Is there anything else you need? I think I'm okay. Right. Well, the rest of the day is yours, Derek. It was a pleasure to meet you. I look forward to getting to know you. Thanks. She righted herself and made her exit. Derek looked around the hallway and sighed. It was sad and grey. It looks very clean to me. Refreshing. Everything is grey. There was a surging wave of melancholy that pulsed through the dorm like a gas. It gripped Derek's throat and tightened it. I've got you now. Shaking his head roughly, Derek inserted his keycard into the door and pushed it open. Not bad. At least you got a bed to sleep in. I guess this will have to do. He wasn't sure why he expected to find solace in the room. There was none, although the tangible sadness he felt in the hallway had dissipated. In this room, lonely was okay. Solitude was the point. He flung his backpack onto the bed and peeled his damp sweater from his body. Looking down, he could see the white shirt cling to him like cellophane. It turned a pinky yellow in places where his body jutted and touched. Do we really need the explanation? He crossed his arms at his waist, grabbed his shirt at the bottom seam and rolled up his body, jolting his head through the fabric. It hit the floor with a heavy splat. He picked it up and draped it across the back of the wooden chair. Moving towards his bed, Derek pressed his hand against one side of his chest. His paws were sharp and raised from the cold air beating against it. He pressed his hand against his skin and ran along it, flattening the rows of goosebumps as he... This is getting a little bit full on. They rebelled, reforming as quickly as they were suppressed. Don't tell us what to do. In his backpack he pulled out his second shirt. He nearly smiled at how similar it was to the one he wore before. Derek may have paid close attention to how he dressed. White t-shirts were acceptable. They were safe. He placed the fabric on his bed next to his bag and wrapped himself in his arms. This is me. I'm here. His fingers dipped loosely beneath his pants, and he ran them up the creases of his abdomen. Letting out a considerable sigh, Derek picked up the new shirt and slid it over himself. His forearms prickled against the cold air. He grabbed his sweater and felt the inside of it to find that it was rather dry. It was just the outside that remained damp. He put it on. Ooh. Derek jumped. He was already clothed but felt naked. Come on, man, open up. Who is it? Haha, very funny. What? He opened the door to see Vincent standing lazily. Oh, sorry, I didn't. I get it. We're all excited to consummate our rooms. What? But there's better and probably much bigger things to be addressed. Huh, my god, I'm funny. Derek didn't allow his anger to swell, but stood sturdy in his posture, leaning forward in a way that kept Vincent still in the doorway. What do you want? We're neighbours! Oh, great. What? Yeah, I'm just wandering over. Thought I'd come over and let you know how I guess I'm supposed to have cookies or... Oh, wow, I butchered that sentence. Okay. He tugged at his sweater. You alright? Are you serious? Wait, what? What's wrong with you? We got in a fight. In class. With that, the sound of a door opening behind Vincent made the conversation pause. With crossed arms, Vincent looked behind himself and then smiled back at Derek. Speak of the devil. What? Toby's a couple doors down to the other side. Looks like he's going for a piss. Oh my god, can you stop? Stop what? Being such an asshole. Acting all cocky and mature when you really don't give a shit about anyone. You're all nice to me outside, but how do I know you aren't talking shit about me behind my back? I don't even know Toby and you're trying shit on him in front of me. Trying to make me hate him or something. Like, what the hell is wrong with you? Vince's stare was nondescript, but soon fell into a mischievous frown. Look. He sighed, not from shame, but from misdirection. I don't really know Tyler either, okay? I just say what's on my mind. Well, people don't like that. I've got someone at work who's like that, and then when she says something that's wrong, and someone's a little offended, she's like, oh my god, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean it. Now I feel bad. I don't have anything against him. I just don't know him. I don't really want to know him. I don't know. There's people I like and there's people I don't like. If that sounds judgmental, then whatever. But you were pretty quick to call me an arsehole yourself, so maybe we aren't so different. You seem like a cool guy, and Sophie seems to really like you too. That's actually why I'm here, if you wanted to know. Derek knew there was too much to unpack in Vincent's splurge, so he skipped to the point that interested him the most. What do you mean? Vincent raised a hand to his face and pressed his finger between furrowed eyebrows. A low sigh escaped. Listen. Sophie wants to... She wants to go for a walk. Derek scrunched up his face in confusion. Is that supposed to mean something? No. She wants to go for a long walk. A little farther than we're allowed. Derek's eyes left Vincent retreat into thought. And she wanted to invite you. See if you wanted to come. Well, he wasn't sure where to begin. It's against the rules, right? Yep. Has anyone else done it? Not sure. I mean, probably. What happens if we get caught? I'm not sure. We won't get caught, but I'm not sure. Look, if you don't want to come, it's fine. She gets it. Well, we get it. You're new and you want to look good. But we're going crazy here. We just want some fresh air. And we want to see what's out there. She leaned on the door frame behind Vincent. You know, get used to our surroundings. Derek's mouth curled up to a smile, but he forced it back down. Sophie looked at Derek and nodded towards him. Nice room. Does look pretty cozy. Derek, we're not trying to intimidate you or anything. Vincent and I hang out all the time. We talk to other people. We're just not really close to anyone else. And I've been thinking about what you said on the bus, about what happens if we leave campus. I'm not looking for trouble tonight. I'm not planning on getting caught. Just going stir crazy, I guess. So yeah, we're going on a walk tonight. It's happening and I thought it would be a good way to get to know each other. You don't have to come. Derek looked around his rooms. Perhaps the heavy walls could have offered him an answer. They didn't. Yeah, whatever, let's just go. Huh, sweet. Alright, we'll leave a little later. We can meet her here in a couple of hours if that's cool. Yeah, sure. Are we good? What do you mean are you good? What did you do? Whatever, I'm not going to hold on to anything. Vincent, what did you do? With Sophie's voice growing angry, the conversation was interrupted by a loud latching of the door. Vincent turned and looked over his shoulder. Was it Toby? Yeah. Sophie, can we invite Toby? What? Toby's gonna die. No. Derek's eyes shrank in confused anger. They sat on Sophie. Toby can't come. He can't know either. Look, we're breaking the rules in the smallest way possible. This isn't exactly a high-risk adventure. But I don't really know Toby. I don't know what he'd have to say about it. Yeah. Derek scoffed at him. I'm just saying she's right. Whatever, fine, let's just meet here whenever you guys are ready. Sounds good. See you. The two left Derek's doorway and he could hear the muffled chatter echo through the concrete hallway. Quietly, Derek turned and sat down in a small chair. He felt so much like it, tiny, unimportant. He stared at the wall. It drew him closer with its comforting quiet. You can rest here. He was tired, but this new anxious kept him alert. Already breaking the rules? With the time left before the walk, Derek decided to search for some company. Let's hang out with Sophie this time. Just want to hang before we go? Yeah, I guess so. What were you up to? Just doing some homework. DuPont doesn't really assign much, so it's not too bad. Nice. Sophie leaned against Derek's desk while he took a seat in his chair. So what do you want to do? I don't know. I was just kind of bored. Fair enough. Well, I'm honored that I was chosen to de-boredom you. She took a moment to gather conversation. So how's your laptop holding up? I think it's fine. It's still in the bag, kind of useless without Wi-Fi, right? Pretty much. You could play solitaire or something. Do they even still come with that? Yeah, I was gonna say. They better. That was my jam when I was little. Derek laughed. Really? Yeah, why? I don't know. I just can't really picture 10-year-old you being into solitaire. Well, there, judgy. She smirked at him, her body somehow handling her awkward position with grace. So, how you holding up? Anything I can do for you? I don't think so. Well, actually, in the pamphlet and all the paperwork it said that we'd be given a phone. Oh, yeah, everything here is privilege-based. Nothing's automatic. Just like taking bus rides. If they think you've earned it, then they'll get your phone. Oh. I don't think anyone has been given their phone, so it's no big deal. Why? Who are you looking to call? Left a girlfriend back at home? Nah. Parents? Huh. They'd probably love it if they never heard from me again. That's probably not true. I bet she doesn't have parents. She's an orphan. Derek looked up to Sophie with a confident stare that washed the room in brief silence. And what about you? What about your parents? What were they like? They were fine. That's it? I don't know. They were normal. Nothing to report, really. Okay. He got the feeling that she didn't want to talk about it. Sophie picked herself up and gestured to the wall opposite them. Got a lot of blank space here. Derek swiveled around in his chair. What do you mean? She poked right up and approached the wall with open arms. Exactly. So many possibilities. Posters, drawings, a huge whiteboard calendar or some shit. You know, the stupid DIY sites. You can get all that crafty and customise your wall. Just fill it with mason jars. Mason jars? Yeah, don't you know? If you want to be crafty, you have to use mason jars. Derek pushed out a breathy laugh. Rustic mason jars? Hipster mason jars. Chic mason jars. They're going to take over, I swear. The mason jar apocalypse. 2017 market. On the whiteboard calendar. The two erupted into a fit of laughter. Derek buried his head in his hands with his mouth agape, letting out rounds of loud giggles. It took them some time to calm down, and once Sophie spoke, her voice was still high and stuttered over itself. "Ha, you have a great laugh." Derek wiped his eyes. Oh, so many people have told me that. It's infectious. She turned back towards the wall, as if to thank for the moment, and then made her way back to the desk, falling right into a casual lean. So yeah, get right on that. We can actually decorate the walls? Sticky tack and masking tape only, but yes. Alright, I'll think about it. Sophie let out a small sigh. Thanks for asking me to come. I needed a laugh. Yeah, for sure. You still good for later? Yeah. If you're knocking and I don't answer, just knock louder. I haven't slept in a while, so... You kicking me out? No, I just meant in case. I'm kidding. I should head back and finish up some stuff anyways. I'll see you later? Yeah. I'll grab Vincent when we're ready to meet and you here. Sounds good. See you later, Derek. Peace. Now the trophy. And dog poop. Right, I better save it. Looks like it's really going to pick up now. It was cold, and the overall tension added to the heavy chills that racked Derek's body. He squeezed himself to calm his muscles. Well, looks like the coast is clear. There was never anything to worry about. Oh, except Dumb Point seeing us geeks and shit. Then we get expelled for breaking the contract and we get sent to Elsewhere High, a school for such exceptional children they can't even follow a simple rule. Right, except for that. She turned to Derek. Thanks for coming. Yeah, for sure. Ready to head out? Sure. She smiled, breathed a deep breath and took an urgent stride away from the school. Oh shit, this is where it goes. It goes all hell. With her hands buried in her cardigan, Sophie did a joyful skip and her feet skidded loudly against the asphalt. A sweet high laugh escaped her. Woo! Oh yeah, this feels nice. Vincent stayed a few paces behind her, walking in tandem with Derek. He nudged Derek's side with his elbow. How could I not fall for a girl like that? Derek smiled at him and then looked to Sophie. Catch up to Sophie. I don't like Vincent, he's a dick. Derek quickened his pace so he walked side by side with Sophie. So where are we headed? Good question. We'll just let the road take us. So romantic. He took a deep breath, his shoulders raised to tense. Relax, dude. I'm relaxed. You don't really look it. Well, I don't know how you're so relaxed, to be honest. Meh. She shrugged loosely. As her hips slowly wilting. I've learned not to take things so seriously. Like breaking the rules. No, like getting caught for breaking the rules. I remember being a kid. Sorry, I can't stop yawning. Yeah, this game's really going on for a while. And the absolute worst thing that could happen was getting in trouble. Remember, it was like the end of the world. And I know that as you get older, the punishments get bigger. But you just gotta not care. If I get caught leaving campus, I'll get in trouble. What does this really mean? Nothing really. I'll still be alive. I'll still live to see the next day. It doesn't really matter. Derek contored his face and thought. Yeah, but then why don't you just do whatever you want? Why don't you just go off murdering people? Because I don't want to murder people. Yeah, good answer. But if I find something that I want to do, and it might get me in trouble, then I just remember not to take it so seriously and just do it. Huh. Derek disagreed with almost everything she was saying, but chose to stay quiet. Even after his first day there, Derek felt anxious and caged, so he couldn't judge what the confinement would do in his own judgment over time. Perhaps he would think the same as her. Nothing really matters. The silence settled and their steps became synchronized. The three of them walked side by side, nearly filling the entire width of the street. Let's hope for no cars. Seriously? Huh, if it's anything like my car back at home, we'd hear it a mile away. You had a car? Trust me, you can barely call it that. Hunk of metal. Hunk of foil. Looks like this thing is going to collapse any second. Still, it's better than nothing. I don't even have a license. Yeah, me neither. Seriously? What do you guys even do with your time? Not get our licenses? Huh, apparently. I went and got it the day that I could. I was always nervous driving. Yeah, I waited a couple years because I thought, I wanted to mature a bit. And plus I was nervous of crashing. Just didn't make sense to me. I mean, it could be safe. Well, it's not really. You could die super easily. Sometimes people who are driving just die. Yeah, like nothing ever happens to them. They just die at the wheel. Sudden automotive death syndrome. Wait, what? Like sudden infant death syndrome, but automotive. No, really? Never heard of it. I hate you both. The boys laughed and Derek could see that Sophie was holding back her own. He nudged her with his elbow and she swatted him away playfully. Stop it. Oh, you don't like that? He nudged her again. Her crossed arms exposed her side and allowed for a perfect landing. Oh my god! Huh, what are you, ticklish? So what if I am? Nothing, would just be good to know. With that, he swung his body into hers and moved his fingers quickly up and down her sides. Oh my god, stop! He laughed as she arched her back forward, body away from his and let out a high squeal. Derek, stop! Her voice was low and commanding. Derek's heart dropped and his muscles seized in hurried obedience. Did I hurt you? She folded her cardigan over herself. What? No, I just don't like to be touched. Oh, losing the moment of fun and chaos has made him panicked and awkward. Sorry. He let it slip out as almost as a question. What? It's fine, don't take it so seriously, it just freaked me out. Oh, was she molested? Please tell me she wasn't. The weightlessness returned to her voice, she almost smiled again. So. She looked at Derek slyly, then caught Vincent in her peripherals. What's up, Vincent? You alright? Yeah, I'm fine. She let his answer sit for a moment and then physically shrugged it off. Alright, well. I was going to say, how about a round of 20 questions? Oh god. What, this is supposed to be a bonding exercise, right? Yeah, I guess, but... we must be off campus now. Derek and Sophie slowed their pace and gave Vincent their attention. I mean, we can barely see the school. The three of them looked back down the isolated road and squinted to make out the shape of the school. Sophie spoke up in a voice that was an obvious attempt to lighten the mood. Well, this marks us getting in total shit if we get caught. Derek smirked at her. They walked in silence for some time, although Derek's thoughts were loud. He thought about his mother, about her distance and apathy towards his transfer. She hardly even said goodbye. Why would she say goodbye to you little dick? The hollow thud of the patch door closing as she dropped him off a mile from the bus stop reverberated his mind. This road looks so similar. Wait. The two others stopped at his command. He cocked his head and raised his arm, listening to a sound that others couldn't yet hear. Do you hear that? Oh, is it going to pick up? What? Then it became louder. At the shoulder of the road there was an audible rustling noise. A raccoon, maybe? Oh shit! Get repositioned. And man, I just got the sudden chills. Sophie's instant appraisal did little to convince the guys or even herself. The three of them stood still waiting. And then it came. Whoa! What the fuck? From the edge of the ditch rose a man, or perhaps it wasn't a man. Wow, I just got major goosebumps. It picked itself up on the tips of its whittled arms. Toothpick stilts that were somehow made of callous flesh and bone. On its face sat bulbous rolls of skin that bulged out like lava. These tight bubbles spilled over its eye sockets and lifted its mouth upwards and out. The mouth was so swollen that its tongue hung from it as if it were dead. Like a pendulum, its half-tools they swung in between its skewer arms. Tick-tock, tick-tock. Sophie lay and stretched a breath of air but said nothing. Vincent stood frozen in place. Oh! The creature twitched and let out a howl. Run! At the first sight of pursuit, the three of them unlatched their muscles from the fear that paralysed them and ran. So this is why people aren't allowed to go out. Maybe this is why everything's shut down. Derek pushed himself forward, and the weight of the wind that fought against him rolled his sweater off his shoulders and forced it back, draping it down the crook of his elbows. Sophie and Vincent said nothing, just hurried noises of desperate fear bounced from their chests with each stride. They could hear the panting from the man behind them and the hollow crackle of its stilted arms beating against the asphalt. Derek craned his neck and quickly looked behind him to see that the creature stood in place, beating the road with the knob of its arms, a frightening war cry. You better run! It stopped. The three slowed down and turned to look behind them. They had made considerable distance and the creature was now nothing more than a small figure swallowed in shadow. So it must be the cut-off line. They can't escape. Its body twitched and bristled and made its way back into the grassy shoulder of the road. Now we're going to go look for it. Derek looked to Sophie and Vincent. Their faces were flushed and their eyes shook in their sockets fiercely. He could see no fear on their faces, however, just desperation and shock. What the hell was that? They said nothing. Derek swiveled his body around, checking his surroundings, his knees bent and ready. Guys! He turned to them for guidance and respite, but he was met with hollow shells that let out quick, sharp breaths. Derek could feel the stinging of tears in the corner of his eyes. Oh my god. He took a few swift steps backwards and then turned himself back towards the school, quickly revving up to a full sprint. Come on! Of course the words meant nothing for Sophie and Vincent, but he pushed them out as if they were motivation for himself. Come on! Faster! Looking back, Derek could see Vincent reach out to Sophie and pull her away from the bushes, leading her into a sprint back towards the school. Derek's forehead was frozen from the wind's chills beating down on it and the thick layer of perspiration that had formed. His cheeks burnt loudly and angry. "Get me out of here." His vision blurred, his senses stopped. Wow. I was going to say, is this game going to get scary at some point? Damn, finally. Wow, that really gave me chills. His hands fumbled aimlessly and found a resting place on the hard walls. He dropped to his knees and crawled forward, his gliding hand offering him some small sense of guidance. Sit down. Rolling his body backwards, Derek locked himself against the wall and tried his best to find some normalcy in his breath. Slow down. In and out. Amidst the greyness of the hallway, he did notice an open door. Is that my... No. No. He could see the shadow of someone kneeling. His chest throbbed over his wailing heart. It thrashed inside him, trying to shake free from its cage. Get me out of here! Derek yelled with his overwhelming anxiety. It nearly overtook him. Fuck. Derek? God, you scared me, Toby. Derek gasped and gripped his chest. He tried to stutter out words, but nothing came. What's wrong? Are you okay? Derek looked at him desperately. Do you want to go to your room? Derek nodded quickly. Okay. Toby knelt down and grabbed Derek's hand, hoisting him to his feet. Your hand is shaking. He led him to his door and they entered Derek's room together. Toby walked into his bed and sat him down, then sat next to him nervously. Sorry, I'm not sure what to say. Derek shook his head, excusing Toby's lack of confidence. His breath still came out in heavy gales. Is it because of your first day? I had a hard time too. I think I cried a lot. Derek drove his eyes shut as tight as he could and then opened them quickly. He motioned with his hands, beckoning Toby to speak. Just tell me something. What were you doing? I kinda saw you in your room. Was it him? His words were slow and came out laced with his deep breaths. Oh. He could see Toby retreat into himself. I was just praying. Ah. Toby laughed nervously. Once again, Derek closed his eyes and nodded. The rise and fall of his chest gradually slowed. Okay. About what? Derek raised his hand and placed it on Toby's shoulder, his eyes still shut. Sorry, it's fine, you don't have to tell me. No, just for my sister. Your sister? His eyes opened and he tried to focus on Toby. Yeah, just some stuff going on with her. A druggie? Derek nodded in response. Derek, you look really scared. I'm fine. Toby played with his fingers awkwardly. He dropped his head down and spoke slowly. Derek? Yeah? He paused and pushed out a sarcastic laugh. And then another one. What's wrong? They both raised their gaze and found knowing look in each other's eyes. Nervous, scared, knowing looks. He looked away. I don't know. Sometimes I feel weird here. What do you mean weird? Like I'm being watched or something. Oh! Watched? They both retreated back onto his bed, their eyes sitting on the blank wall opposite of them. Toby's words became more rushed. Ever since I got here, I feel something weird. Like something's always behind me. His voice fell into a whisper as he tried to mask the fear and sadness that crept in its way into his voice. I know it sounds crazy, but it's true. Nothing seems right. There's something wrong going on here. finally gave in and let out a heavy breath, and a tear pushed its way over his eye and hit the fabric of his pants. He gripped his hands tightly. Derek. Derek looked up to him, but Toby's head remained low and guarded. Where are we? Is that it? Is that the end?